Welcome to Stoic Moon, the place where we learn together how to live with composure, resilience, and maturity every single day, no matter what storms life throws our way. Have you ever wondered why your life seems to be stuck in a rut? No matter how hard you try to change, no matter how much you long to move forward. There's a reason most people don't dare to face it, and it's not about luck, nor is it about your circumstances. It's a truth that so many people spend their entire lives avoiding. Have you ever felt exhausted repeating the same old habits, blaming yourself for not changing, or quietly believing you could be doing so much more, but you just don't know where to start? If the answer is yes, then you are not alone. In just a moment, I'm going to reveal exactly what has been holding you back all this time, and more importantly, the practical steps you can take to break through every barrier and finally move forward. No empty words, no abstract theories, just things you can apply right away. If you're ready to drop all the excuses, if you truly want to take control of your life instead of just dreaming about it, then stay and listen, because a small action today can change the rest of your life. Chapter 1. Stop blaming others and start changing yourself. The first step to moving forward in life is to stop blaming others and focus on changing what's inside you. You cannot change the world around you if you don't first deal with what's going on within you. Everything begins with you. The way you think, the choices you make, your habits, your reactions, it all comes from within. Many people spend their entire lives looking for external reasons. They say they can't succeed because this person or that person didn't believe in them, or because their circumstances were unfair. And maybe that's true. Maybe life has been unfair to you. Maybe someone did hurt you. But if you continue to live with the mindset that everything is someone else's fault, you are giving away your power. You are handing over control of your life to others. You're just sitting there waiting for things to change. But it's not going to happen. You can't keep blaming your parents, your job, your past, your environment, or what you don't have. Blaming only keeps you stuck. It makes you feel like a victim. And someone with a victim mentality can never build a meaningful life. They can only exist. If you're always looking for an external reason why your life isn't better, you will never be strong enough to actually change it. If you truly want to shift your focus, don't look outward. Look inward. Look in the mirror. Not to blame, but to be honest with yourself. Ask yourself what you have allowed to happen, what you have ignored, what you have accepted. That is where your strength begins to grow, because when you start taking responsibility, that's where your power begins. Most people don't want to do this. It's easier to blame someone for not treating you well, or to blame society for being unfair. And maybe that's true. But that way of thinking will not help you move forward. What helps you move forward is admitting, this is where I am, and it is my responsibility to change it. No one else's, only yours. Life owes you nothing. When you truly accept this, you start building real value. You stop waiting for someone to come and save you. You no longer need someone else's approval. You're not looking for permission from anyone. You realize that everything depends on you. And in that very moment, everything starts to change. Start with your thoughts. If your mindset is weak, your life will be weak too. If your mind is filled with negativity, defensiveness, or self-pity, you will remain stuck no matter how hard you try. You need to train your mind to work for you, not with fantasies, but with truth, with clarity, with action. Remind yourself of this every time you want to complain. Listen closely and ask yourself, am I just venting my frustration, or am I actually avoiding responsibility? Those are two completely different things. One makes you feel better for a moment, but the other keeps you from ever making any long-term change. Next, look at your daily habits. What are the things you repeat every day that are making you weaker? Do you spend hours scrolling online without learning anything new? Do you skip your workouts? Do you consistently stay up late? Do you gossip about others? Do you avoid difficult tasks? It's these small habits that are silently shaping your entire life. Not in a single day, but gradually, quietly. Until one day you look back on the past 5 years and wonder why nothing has changed. You don't need perfect habits to make progress. You just need to be a little better today than you were yesterday. Change what's draining your energy. Fix the habits that are killing your confidence. Adjust your lifestyle if it's not taking you anywhere. No one is going to do that for you. Next, observe how you react under pressure. When you're criticized, what do you do? When someone rejects you, how do you handle it? Many people react emotionally. They get hurt easily. They look for someone to blame. They fall apart. But if you want to get ahead in life, you need to learn to stay calm. Learn to face things with composure, with reason. With a long-term perspective, you cannot control other people. You cannot control everything in life, but you can control how you react. And that reaction determines how far you'll go. Life will always test you. There will be times when unexpected hardships strike. But if you build the inner strength to remain steady, to keep a clear head, even under pressure, you will be able to stand when others fall. All of these things, from your mindset, to your habits, to your reactions, are within your control. And that is what makes this message so powerful, because it means you are not stuck forever. You are not helpless. You are not unchangeable. You just need to start working on yourself. And that process begins from within. It's not easy. Taking responsibility is always hard. Looking directly at your weaknesses, your laziness, or your inner fears is always uncomfortable. But that very feeling is the dividing line between those who dare to grow and those who stay stuck forever. You have to dare to look at yourself and admit, I need to change. I can do better. And I must do better. The strong people you see today were also once struggling, lacking confidence and undisciplined. But they stopped blaming. They stopped waiting for things to happen to them. They dared to face themselves. They took the initiative to change. They trained their minds, built their habits, and raised their standards every single day. They didn't need everything to be perfect in one day. But every day they fixed one small thing. And when you do that consistently, your life will gradually change for the better. You start to believe in yourself more. You no longer react impulsively to everything. You become the one who actively creates results, not someone who just waits for luck or hopes for change to come. And the people around you will notice. They will notice the change in the way you talk, in your actions, and in the results you achieve. But most importantly, you will feel it yourself. You become grounded, strong, and in control of your own life. Because you are no longer blaming anyone else. You are building yourself. That is the true foundation of a meaningful life. Not talent, not luck, not anyone's approval, but responsibility. When you truly accept that your life is in your hands, you stop giving away your power. You become the master of your own destiny. And from that position, you can create something that lasts. So if your life isn't what you want it to be, right now, don't run from it. Don't console yourself with excuses. Face it head on. Be honest with yourself. And start to change. Not on the outside, but on the inside. Start with your thoughts, in your habits, in every choice you make each day, in the things you do when no one is watching. If you feel stuck, stop blaming others. If you haven't achieved what you want, stop waiting for the perfect opportunity. If you want a better life, become a better version of yourself. That is the truth. And I want to share one more thing with you. The day you truly stop blaming, completely stop, you will feel something different. A quiet strength will emerge from within, a feeling that says, I am the one in charge now. And that sense of ownership is more powerful than anything you've ever chased. Because when you are the master of yourself, when you control your attitude, your time, your energy, you can face anything. You don't fall apart when others doubt you. You don't become bitter when life is unfair. You stay focused. You stay committed to your choices. You honor your commitments to yourself. And that is how you move forward. Not by wishing, not by blaming, and not by waiting, but by taking full control of the one thing you can truly control, yourself. So start right now. Fix what's on the inside. Work on the parts no one else sees. Dare to show up even when it gets hard. Choose growth even when it doesn't feel good. And keep doing it until you finally become the one leading your life instead of letting life lead you. That is how you move forward. That is how you change yourself. And when you do, You will never go back to blaming anyone else again. Chapter 2. Start doing the work no one sees daily. Start doing the work no one sees daily. That's what separates people who grow from people who stay the same. The work that builds your future doesn't usually get applause. It doesn't go on social media. It doesn't get noticed right away. But that's the work that matters the most. Most people only want to work when someone's watching. They want the credit, the compliments, the approval. They want someone to say, "Wow, look at you. You're doing great." And when no one says it, they slow down. They lose motivation. They stop. But here's the truth. If you only do the work when people notice, you'll never become who you're capable of being. The work that actually changes your life is the kind you do when it's just you. No camera, no audience, no one checking in, no one clapping. That's the real test, because that's where real strength is built. That's where consistency is forged. That's where self-respect grows. When you start doing the work that no one sees every single day, you stop depending on outside motivation. You stop needing a push. You stop waiting for inspiration. You become the kind of person who pushes themselves. You build self-trust. You build quiet confidence. Not the kind that brags. Not the kind that shows off. But the kind that says, "I know who I am because I see what I do when no one's around." Wake up early and do something productive even if no one asks. Read a chapter even if no one tests you. Exercise even if no one's keeping score. Sit in silence and think about your goals even if no one says, "Good job." That's the work. The little decisions that seem invisible in the moment but build something powerful over time. There's no spotlight in the process. No crowd in the routine. No quick win in the repetition. But that's where winners are made. Not in the outcome, but in the daily practice. The discipline to show up anyway. That's what sets you apart. Everyone says they want success, but not everyone is willing to do what it takes. Because success isn't loud. It doesn't feel exciting most of the time. It's quiet. It's private. It's the meal you skip because you're staying focused. It's the extra hour you put in after a long day. It's saying no to the easy path and yes to the hard one, without needing anyone to understand. And this isn't about being perfect. It's not about doing everything right. It's about showing up, about putting in the time, about choosing progress even when you feel tired, discouraged, or overlooked. That's where real growth comes from. Not when you feel like it, but when you don't. And you do it anyway. Start tracking what you do when no one's watching. Look at how you spend your free time. Look at your energy. Look at your focus. It will show you what you truly value. Are you wasting hours hoping things change? Or are you using those hours to make change happen? The people who get ahead don't always look the most talented. They're not always the loudest, but they're consistent. They build momentum quietly. They train when it's boring. They prepare when it's not urgent. And when the finally comes, they're ready because they've been doing the work no one saw. You have to be willing to be invisible for a while, to build behind the scenes, to put in hours that nobody claps for, to sharpen your skills when no one's cheering you on, because those hours are not wasted. They are the foundation of your future. The truth is, anyone can be motivated when they feel good. Anyone can show up when the mood is right. But if you can keep going when it's silent, when it's slow, when it's lonely, that's when you start becoming unstoppable. You don't need approval to make progress. You don't need applause to get stronger. You just need to show up today, and again tomorrow, and again the day after that. That's how you build something real. That's how you build something solid. Not by talking about it, by doing it quietly, repeatedly, faithfully. You might not see results right away. That's okay. Most real results come slow. They come after weeks of discipline, after months of staying focused, after days where you almost quit but chose not to. You won't feel proud every day, but every day you do the work, you build something inside you that no one can take away. This kind of work is emotional. Some days you'll feel like no one understands, like you're putting in effort and nothing's changing. That's normal. But don't let that stop you. Keep showing up. Keep doing what matters, because the results are growing even when you can't see them. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you grow. Every time you do something hard without needing validation, you get stronger. Every time you improve your skills without needing to be told, it compounds. Don't chase attention. Chase discipline. Don't wait for recognition. Build self-respect. When you focus on the work, the results will come. Not overnight, but they will come. The world respects the results. But it's the daily unseen work that produces them. So ask yourself, what do I do when no one's watching? Am I building myself or just passing time? Am I making progress or just staying busy? Be honest with yourself. The answers are in your actions. Look at your routine. Look at your energy. Look at your attitude. Are you putting in the time? Are you choosing growth? Are you holding yourself to a higher standard even when no one's around? That's how you build a life you're proud of. Not by being perfect, but by doing the work when it would be easier not to, by choosing to show up anyway, again and again and again. And one day someone will look at you and say, "How did you get there?" And you'll know. You'll remember the quiet days, the early mornings, the late nights, the decisions that no one saw but changed everything. And you'll realize that was the real work. The work that made the difference. The work that separated you from the rest. So today, don't wait to be noticed. Don't wait to be praised. Start doing the work. The real work. The work no one sees. And do it again tomorrow. And the next day. And watch what starts to happen. Because when you take care of the work in private life, takes care of the results in public. That's how you get ahead. That's how you win. And that's how you make sure you don't go back to who you used to be. Keep doing the work, no matter what. Chapter 3. Cut the lazy talk and move your life forward. Cut the lazy talk and move your life forward. That's one of the most honest and necessary things you can do if you're serious about progress. Most people don't lack ability. They lack effort. They keep saying what they want, what they wish for, what they hope will happen. But their actions never follow. They've convinced themselves that talking about the life they want is enough. It's not. Talking doesn't build anything. Movement does. There comes a time when you have to stop making excuses. Excuses feel good in the moment. They give you relief. They protect your pride. They help you avoid discomfort. But long term, they rob you of progress. They delay your growth. They blind you from the truth. And the truth is, if you're not moving forward, it's because somewhere you're allowing yourself to stay comfortable. You say you want to succeed, but you stay in bed late. You say you want change, but you keep putting off the work. You say you're tired of struggling, but every day looks the same. You have to wake up to that. You have to see that. The lazy talk. The "I'll do it later," the "I don't feel ready," the "it's not the right time" is what's keeping your life small. No one's coming to force you to change. That's your job. That's your responsibility. People who make progress don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait to feel motivated. They don't spend hours thinking about what they should do. They get up and do it. They understand that action fixes more than overthinking ever will. You don't need 100 strategies. You don't need 10 podcasts. You need to get serious with yourself and say, "I've had enough of doing nothing. It's time to move." The problem is not that people are lost. It's that they've accepted being stuck. They've adjusted to it. They've made peace with a lifestyle that doesn't challenge them. That kind of mindset ruins potential. It's dangerous because it teaches you to survive instead of thrive. It teaches you to protect your comfort instead of pursue your future. Look at your habits. Look at what you do when no one's pushing you. Are you moving forward? Or are you just filling time with easy things that don't bring change? Be honest. Don't dress it up. Don't soften it. If your days are full of comfort, your life will be empty of results. Cut the lazy talk. The world doesn't reward good intentions. It rewards consistency. It rewards courage. It rewards people who get uncomfortable and move forward anyway. That's what you need to train yourself to do. To move even when it's inconvenient. To choose action even when you feel uncertain. To hold yourself to a standard higher than your excuses. You don't need someone to yell at you. You need to listen to the part of yourself that knows you've been playing small. That quiet voice that says you're capable of. Listen to that. That's not pressure. That's your potential, reminding you that it's still there waiting. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You just need to start doing what matters every single day. Even a little progress every day adds up to a lot over time. But you don't get that progress if you stay stuck in lazy thinking. If you keep telling yourself it's too late or it's too hard, you'll keep waking up to the same life. People think hard work is punishment. It's not. It's the way out. It's the path to growth. It's the tool that separates who you are now from who you want to become, and no one can do it for you. You have to earn it, not just once, but over and over again. You don't build confidence by talking about what you'll do. You build confidence by doing what you said you would. You build belief by following through. You don't need louder goals. You need stronger follow-through. You need to decide that your actions will finally match your words. Cut the lazy talk. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," you're lying to yourself. Every time you say, "I'm too tired," but spend hours on distractions you're choosing. Delay over progress. These choices stack up. They turn into weeks, then months, then years. And one day you wake up and wonder where the time went. It went into all the delays, all the talk, all the avoidance. You have to reach the point where you're not okay with wasting another day, where you're not okay with looking in the mirror and knowing you've held back. That's the turning point. That's when things start to shift. Not when your circumstances change, but when your mindset does. Start building your life like it. Put effort into how you spend your time. Be disciplined about what you allow. Be intentional with your habits. Set standards that force you to grow. Don't fall for comfort. Comfort is the trap. It makes you believe you're fine when deep down you know you're settling. No one becomes great by accident. No one builds a strong life by taking it easy all the time. It takes work. Not flashy work, but consistent, uncomfortable, often invisible effort. That's the kind of work that moves your life forward. And here's what happens when you stop talking lazy. You start trusting yourself more. You stop needing motivation to act. You stop chasing results and start creating them. You wake up with more focus. You go to bed with fewer regrets. You gain momentum. And with momentum comes progress. Progress changes how you feel. It lifts your energy. It shifts your perspective. You stop being stuck in the same stories. You start living like your time matters. You stop feeling lost because now you're moving. Even small steps forward feel better than standing still with big dreams. You have to get tired of doing nothing. You have to feel the weight of wasted time. Not to beat yourself up, but to push yourself forward. The feeling of regret hurts, but it's not permanent. The moment you start acting on what you've avoided, things begin to change. The secret isn't more talent. It's more effort, more honesty, more responsibility. The people who move forward are not the ones with perfect conditions. They're the ones who refuse to accept laziness as normal. They said, "I want more from life, so I'll do more today, not tomorrow." Today, stop waiting to feel ready. Stop hoping things get easier. Stop convincing yourself that now isn't the right time. Now is the only time. If you want your life to change, it starts with how you show up. Right now. So cut the lazy talk. Cut the comfort chasing. Cut the distractions. Move your life forward. By moving your feet. By doing the work. By following through on what you say. That's how you rise. That's how you build a future that feels real. Not one you talk about, but one you live. And you do it by getting serious, getting consistent, and refusing to waste another day. Chapter 4. Choose long-term peace over short-term pleasure now. Choose long-term peace over short-term pleasure now. That single decision will change the direction of your entire life. Most people chase what feels good now and pay for it later. They reach for comfort in the moment and end up with stress that lasts for years. They want quick fun, easy distractions, fast rewards, but they never think about what that does to their future. And by the time they wake up to the damage they're buried under, regrets, routines, they can't break, and a life they didn't plan to build. Long-term peace doesn't show up by accident. It comes from the choices you make today. The quiet ones. The ones that feel boring at first. The ones no one talks about. You protect your future by giving up what doesn't serve you now. You let go of the temporary highs that cost you lasting results. That takes strength. That takes awareness. But it's the only way to live a life that actually feels good over time. The people who grow, really grow, don't live based on impulse. They live based on direction. They don't ask, what do I feel like doing right now? They ask, what will lead me somewhere better? That mindset builds something powerful because now your actions are based on your future, not just your feelings. And when you think that way, you don't fall for every cheap thrill or tempting escape. You start moving with purpose. Look around you. Most people aren't suffering because they took the hard road. They're suffering because they took the easy one too often. They avoided discipline. They avoided sacrifice. They avoided delay. And now their life is full of pain. They could have prevented. They never built structure. They never built inner strength. So everything feels like a burden. Even the small things feel heavy. And they wonder why they're always exhausted. Always behind. Always stuck. It's because they kept choosing short-term comfort. And short-term comfort steals long-term freedom. You need to see the cost of your choices. That night you stayed up too late scrolling for no reason. That morning you skipped the gym because it was too early. That money you spent on something you didn't need just to feel good for 5 minutes. That time adds up. That energy goes somewhere. That behavior becomes a pattern. And patterns shape your life faster than you realize. You have to train yourself to think ahead. Not years ahead, just a few steps ahead. Ask yourself, will this help me feel better? Next week? Next month? Next year? If the answer is no, it's probably short-term pleasure. It's probably something that gives you a moment of relief, but leaves you more stressed afterward. That's the trap most people fall into. They fix today by damaging tomorrow over and over again. And here's the hard truth. Peace doesn't come from doing what's easy. Peace comes from building a life that doesn't need escaping from. It comes from being in control of your time, your energy, your choices. It comes from knowing you're not running in circles. That takes discipline. That takes maturity. And that takes doing things most people avoid. Cut the habits that leave you drained. Say no to things that give you short-term fun, but no real value. Build routines that support your focus, your health, your growth. Choose rest over chaos. Choose planning over guessing. Choose saying no when it protects your progress. Those choices might feel uncomfortable in the moment, but they lead to a life that feels calm, clear, and strong. You don't need to entertain yourself all the time. You don't need to feel good every second. You need to feel grounded. And that grounding comes from doing what's necessary, not just what's fun. It comes from doing what builds peace, not just what provides escape. When you start thinking this way, your standards shift. You stop chasing temporary relief. You start building long-term freedom. The truth is, peace is built. It's not gifted. It's not found. It's earned through discipline, through saying no when it's hard, through doing the right thing when it's inconvenient, through being honest with yourself about what's hurting you and what's helping you. Every small decision to skip what drains you, every choice to follow through, every moment where you choose discomfort over delay that's building something strong inside you, you'll feel the difference. Slowly your mind gets quieter. Your days feel more in control. Your sleep improves. Your focus sharpens. Not because life got easier, but because you got better at managing it. You stopped letting temporary feelings decide your future. You started living like your time matters. People might not understand your choices. They might say you're missing out. They might wonder why you don't join in on every distraction. Let them talk. They don't live with your consequences. You do. They don't carry your stress. They don't feel your regret. You do. So you have to do what protects you. You have to think about your future self, not just how you feel now. There's a level of peace that only comes from knowing you showed up fully, that you stayed consistent, that you didn't take the easy way out every time, that you protected your goals even when it was tempting to let them go. That kind of peace is quiet but powerful. It gives you strength you didn't know you had. It builds resilience. It helps you sleep better at night. And it shows up in your confidence, your decisions, your progress. You can still enjoy life. This isn't about removing joy. It's about removing the fake kind, the kind that looks fun but leaves you empty, the kind that breaks routines, kills momentum, and sets you back. You don't need more pleasure. You need more clarity, more direction, more stability. And you get that by making real adult choices that align with the life you actually want, not the feeling you're chasing right now. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're building peace. Every time you save energy instead of wasting it on drama, you're protecting your focus. Every time you rest with purpose instead of escaping with noise, you're giving your mind space to breathe. And that's what you need more of, not stimulation, not entertainment. Space, stillness, real calm. Short-term pleasure might feel exciting, but it's also what leaves you feeling behind. Over time, it steals your potential. It keeps you trapped in cycles. If you keep choosing what feels good now, you'll always be stuck in the same place. Years will pass, and you'll be carrying the same problems, the same regrets, the same weight. That's the cost. But if you can start choosing what helps you long-term, everything begins to change. You move slower at first, but stronger. Your decisions get sharper. Your routines start to support you. Your future starts to open up. You start leading your life instead of reacting to it. So start making those decisions now. Skip the impulse. Delay the comfort. Choose the hard option if it leads to peace. Choose to say no when saying yes would hurt your growth. Choose to stay focused when the world around you wants you distracted. That's how you start building the life you actually want. Not the one that looks fun on the surface, but the one that gives you calm strength and control beneath it all. The people who win long-term are the ones who make short-term sacrifices. The ones who are okay missing out now because they're building something bigger. The ones who don't need to prove anything to anyone because they're proud of what they're doing even when no one sees it. That can be you if you stop chasing every little high, if you stop choosing comfort at the cost of peace, if you decide that your future is worth more than 5 minutes of escape. That's a mindset shift. That's maturity. That's real strength. Choose long-term peace now. Don't wait until your life falls apart. Don't wait until the damage is done. Build the habits. Keep the promises and let peace grow from the inside out. Not once, not occasionally, but every day. That's the life worth living. And it starts with one hard choice today, then another tomorrow, until peace is no longer something you chase. It's something you've earned. Chapter 5. Respect your time like it actually matters today. Respect your time like it actually matters today. Because the truth is, it does. And if you keep treating it like it doesn't, life will keep slipping past you. Most people live like time is unlimited. They act like there's always going to be another chance, another morning, another week to get serious. But if you add up all the time you've wasted on things that don't matter, you'd see how much of your life you've already given away. And that's the kind of truth that should wake you up. You don't get your time back. Once it's gone, it's gone. You don't get to rewind and redo. Every hour that passes is an hour of your life you'll never touch again. So if you're not respecting it, you're losing it. Not slowly, not later, right now. You can rebuild your money. You can rebuild your health. But time, it only moves in one direction. And it doesn't care if you're ready or not. It doesn't wait for you to stop procrastinating. It doesn't pause because you're tired or distracted or unsure. It just keeps moving. That's why today matters. That's why now matters. Look at your daily routine. Look at how you start your mornings. Look at what you allow to steal your focus. If you're waking up without a plan, if you're reacting instead of leading, if you're drifting from one distraction to another, you're giving your life away without even realizing it. And no one's going to stop you. No one's going to come and say, "Hey, you're wasting time. Get back on track." That's your job. That's your responsibility. Too many people wait for some big moment to change their life. They think clarity will show up one day. They think they'll just feel ready, that something will shift. But life doesn't give you that. What it gives you is time. And what you do with that time decides everything. Whether you move forward, whether you build something, whether you become someone stronger, or whether you keep spinning in circles, wondering why nothing changes. You don't need more hours in a day. You need to stop giving your hours to things that don't matter. You need to stop saying yes to people who drain you. You need to stop spending your best energy on distractions that offer nothing in return. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to start being intentional. Every minute you waste is one you could have used to improve something in your life. Respecting your time means asking hard questions. What am I doing right now? Why am I doing it? Is this helping me grow? Is this building something I actually want? If you don't like the answers, change the behavior, because no one can do that for you. No one can take control of your day except you. Time is not just a number on a clock. It's your opportunity. It's your potential. It's the space where your future is built. And when you treat it like it's cheap, you build a life that feels empty. But when you treat it like it matters, you start to build something solid, something meaningful, something that lasts. You need to protect your time the same way you'd protect anything valuable, because it is valuable. Every hour you spend learning, building, growing, that's an investment. It doesn't always pay off instantly, but it always pays off eventually. On the other hand, every hour wasted on meaningless talk, on endless scrolling, on mindless distractions, that's time you can't get back. That's time that never returns. People say they don't have time. That's not true. Everyone has the same 24 hours. What they don't have is clarity. What they don't have is discipline. What they don't have is the to say no. And that's what keeps them stuck. If you want to change your life, stop saying you're busy. Start saying, this isn't a priority. Say it out loud. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's a sign. That's the truth, waking you up. Because the way you use your time shows what you really care about. It doesn't matter what you say. Matters. Your calendar tells the truth. Your habits tell the truth. Every day you make decisions. You choose how to spend your hours. And those choices over time create your reality. It's not one big moment. It's not one breakthrough. It's 100 little choices. It's how you spend the hour before bed. It's what you do first thing in the morning. It's what you allow into your space over and over again. And it's not about being busy all day long. It's about doing what matters, even if it's just for an hour, even if it's one task that pushes you forward. That hour of focused effort is more valuable than 10 hours of scattered noise. But you don't get that focus by accident. You get it by taking your time seriously. You don't owe everyone your time. You don't need to explain why you're protecting your focus. If something doesn't serve you, if it doesn't align with your goals, you can walk away. You can say no. You can choose better. That's not selfish. That's responsibility. That's growth. And once you start respecting your time, everything else changes. Your energy improves. Your confidence grows. Your progress speeds up. You stop feeling overwhelmed because you're not drowning in things that don't matter. You're clear. You're intentional. You're building. It won't always be easy. You'll be tempted to go back to old habits. You'll have days where you feel tired, where the distractions look appealing. But that's when it matters most. That's when you remind yourself, your time is your life, and your life is too important to waste. So stop treating your minutes like they're disposable. Stop giving away your hours for things that don't move you forward. Start living like every day counts, because it does. Start acting like your future depends on what you do today, because it does. This is your time, and what you do with it will either build something real or leave you wondering where all those years went. You don't get to hit rewind, but you do get to choose what you do next. So choose well. Choose now. Respect your time like it actually matters, because it does, more than you've ever realized. Chapter 6. Let go of comfort and chase real growth fast. Let go of comfort and chase real growth fast. Comfort feels good, but it slowly takes everything important away from you. It makes you soft when life demands strength. It makes you passive when you need to act. It makes you delay what you know you need to do. Most people don't fail because they're not smart or talented. They fail because they stay comfortable too long. They stay in the job that drains them. They stay in the routine that keeps them small. They stay in a life that doesn't challenge them because it feels safe. But safe doesn't equal growth. And if you don't grow, you slowly lose your edge. Comfort tricks you. It tells you you're fine where you are. It makes you ignore what's possible. It keeps you surrounded by distractions and easy routines. You think you're avoiding stress, but what you're really avoiding is your own potential. You settle. You put your goals on pause. You tell yourself not now over and over until years go by and nothing has changed. If you want a better life, you have to do what's hard. Now, not later. Growth doesn't wait for your permission. It shows up when you chase it. It demands discomfort. It forces you to stretch your limits. And when you finally choose growth, you realize how small your comfort zone actually was. You see how many times you said no to progress just because it felt hard. You can't grow and stay comfortable. The two can't exist in the same space. Growth challenges you. It makes you doubt yourself at first. It exposes your weaknesses. It demands effort, focus, and courage. But it gives you something comfort never can: transformation. When you grow, you become someone new, someone sharper, someone stronger, someone who can handle more. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you walk straight into the things that scare you and refuse to run. Look at the parts of your life that haven't changed. Look at the goals you keep setting, but never follow through on. Look at the dreams that stay on paper. What's holding them back? It's not just fear. It's the grip of comfort, the attachment to what's familiar, the fear of failure, of judgment, of not being good enough. But you will never know how strong you are until you step into the unknown and figure it out as you go. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be brave enough to move. You don't need to know everything before you start. You just need to start and learn along the way. Growth rewards action. It rewards commitment. It shows up for people who do the work, even when it's uncomfortable. You'll never outgrow challenges. They don't go away. They evolve. The version of you today can't solve tomorrow's problems. You need to become more. You need to develop grit. You need to build mental toughness. That doesn't happen by doing what's easy. It happens by pushing past what you thought was your limit. Comfort will keep you average. It'll convince you to keep routines that don't work. It'll keep you around people who aren't growing. It'll tell you to wait until you're ready. But that voice will never go away. And if you keep listening to it, it'll slowly lower your standards until one day you don't even recognize who you've become. The people who grow fast don't wait. They don't ask for perfect timing. They don't need everything to make sense. They jump into the uncomfortable and adjust along the way. They learn through action. They become stronger because they force themselves to rise. And the faster you let go of comfort, the faster you become someone who can build something meaningful. Your future depends on your willingness to move now, not later, not someday. Every day you stay comfortable is another day you delay your growth. And the longer you delay, the harder it becomes to change. Momentum works both ways. If you keep choosing ease, you get weaker. If you keep choosing growth, you get stronger. If you want to build confidence, chase challenges. If you want to grow your mindset, do the hard thing first. If you want to change your life, stop waiting until you feel like it. Act now. Feel later. Action builds belief. Movement creates clarity. Results come from repeated discomfort. This doesn't mean burn yourself out. It means raise your standards. Stop settling for what's convenient. Start living like your time matters. Start acting like your goals are urgent. Start showing up with intensity and focus. That shift in energy changes everything. Most people live stuck between what they want and what they're willing to do. They say they want to level up, but they stay in the same place because that place feels safe. But what's safe today will suffocate you tomorrow. You were built to evolve. You were designed to grow. But that only happens when you stop choosing comfort and start demanding more from yourself. This is your life. No one's going to live it for you. No one's going to hand you growth. You have to earn it. You have to get up every day and do something that makes you stronger. That might mean waking up earlier. That might mean cutting off distractions. That might mean saying no to people who keep you stuck. That might mean stepping into something you've avoided for too long. Whatever it is, do it. Not next month. Not next week. Do it now. Move fast. Not reckless, but intentional. You don't have time to waste. You don't have years to keep repeating the same cycle. You need to act like your goals matter because they do, and every step you take toward discomfort is a step toward a better version of you. No one ever looks back and regrets doing the work. They regret not starting sooner. They regret letting fear run their decisions. They regret all the years comfort stole from them. Don't let that be your story. Write a new one. One where you got up, faced what was hard, and grew because of it. Growth doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from movement. So move. Move now. Let go of the comfort that's keeping you stuck. Step into the discipline that sharpens you. Choose the path that makes you better, not the one that feels easier, and do it again tomorrow and again after that. That's how you grow. That's how you change. And that's how you build a life that actually feels worth living. It's not in the easy. It's in the stretch. It's in the climb. And it starts when you stop running from discomfort and start chasing real growth now. Chapter 7. Train your mind to stay calm under pressure. Train your mind to stay calm under pressure. That's not a suggestion. That's a necessity. If you want to move forward in life without breaking down every time things get heavy, life will hit you hard, sometimes without warning. You'll face days when everything feels urgent. People disappoint you, plans collapse, and expectations crush you. But your ability to handle that pressure without losing your clarity or your control is what separates strength from struggle. Staying calm isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about choosing not to fall apart when things aren't. It's about responding, not reacting. It's about keeping your judgment clear when your emotions want to take over. Because if you let panic run your life, you'll make decisions that cost you time, energy, and peace. But if you train your mind to stay steady, you stay in control of what really matters. Your direction, your focus, your response. Pressure isn't going away. It's a part of growth. It comes with responsibility. It shows up when you take your goals seriously. The more you aim for, the more pressure you'll feel. So the goal isn't to avoid it. It's to handle it better. To face it head on and stay steady when everything around you is trying to shake you. Calm is a skill. You're not born with it. You build it. You build it by choosing not to react right away. You build it by slowing down your thinking when things feel chaotic. You build it by reminding yourself that not everything needs an emotional response. Some things just need strategy. Some moments require silence. Some situations demand that you breathe, think, and act later, not explode now. Every time you stay calm in a situation that would normally make you panic, you gain power not over others, over yourself. And that's the kind of power that changes lives. When you know how to stay calm, people can't push your buttons as easily. Situations don't throw you off course so quickly. You stop being a slave to every feeling that comes up, and you start becoming someone who moves with intention. But you don't build that strength in easy moments. You build it in real situations. The uncomfortable ones, the frustrating ones. When someone criticizes you and you feel the urge to defend yourself, immediately pause. When something goes wrong and you feel like giving up, hold your ground. When pressure rises and your first instinct is to lash out, escape, or shut down, breathe. Your breath is your reset button. It brings you back to the present. It calms your nervous system. It reminds your brain that you're still in control. It's not just something soft and spiritual. It's a tool, a physical tool that keeps your mind sharp when emotions get loud. And it's always there. You just have to use it. Training your mind isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about putting space between stimulus and response. It's about choosing your reaction instead of letting it choose you. And that takes work. That takes awareness. That takes practice. But the more you practice, the stronger you get. Start in small moments. When your day doesn't go as planned. When someone says something rude. When you're stuck in traffic. When your phone rings too many times. Use those moments to train. Tell yourself this is a test. Let me respond, not react. Because if you can stay calm in small pressures, you'll be ready for bigger ones. Mental strength doesn't show up when everything's perfect. It shows up when nothing is. When you're tired, but you still choose patience. When you're frustrated, but you still stay respectful, you're V. When you're overwhelmed, but you stay on task, that's discipline. That's growth. That's real maturity. Most people think being tough means being loud, dominant, or aggressive. But real toughness is silent. It's calm. It's the person in the room who doesn't need to raise their voice, who doesn't need to overreact, who doesn't crumble when things don't go their way. That's the person people follow. That's the kind of presence you want to develop. You won't always feel in control, but you can act like you are. You can slow things down. You can choose not to spiral. You can choose to pause, think, and then speak. That's how you become someone who leads themselves even in chaos. And don't expect your environment to always be peaceful. Expect yourself to be stronger. Don't count on everything going smoothly. Count on yourself to stay focused when it doesn't. That's the game. Life's not going to bend for you. You have to bend your mind to meet life where it is and move with clarity. When something doesn't go the way you expected, remind yourself this is just a situation. It's not the end. It's not a personal attack. It's a test of how I manage stress decisions and expectations. If you can take that view, you don't just survive stress. You use it. You get smarter. You get sharper. You learn how to lead yourself through difficulty. Pressure builds character. It reveals what you've been training for. If you've been practicing calmness, awareness, and control, then pressure becomes the environment where you shine. But if you've been feeding stress, impatience, and blame, then pressure becomes the place where everything falls apart. So be honest with yourself. How do you usually respond to pressure? Do you shut down? Do you snap? Do you lose focus? Or do you step back? Assess and adjust. You won't always get it right. That's okay. What matters is that you train, that you learn, that you take each moment seriously enough to grow from it. Your mind needs discipline, not just motivation, not just positive thinking. Real discipline, the kind that says, even if I feel panicked, I can stay centered. The kind that says, even when things go wrong, I don't fall apart. That kind of discipline turns ordinary people into leaders, into people others trust, not into individuals who can build something strong because they're not shaken by every storm. You can't control pressure, but you can control how you handle it. And the better you handle it, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more you can handle, and that loop becomes your edge. It becomes your advantage in a world full of people who panic at first sign of resistance. Train your mind today, not later, today. Every conversation, every problem, every challenge. Use them as training. Remind yourself, I'm building mental strength. I'm practicing being calm. I'm becoming someone who doesn't fall apart under pressure, and every time you pass that test, you get better. You become more prepared for the next one. You start living from a place of power, not panic. That's the path, not flashy, not loud, but powerful, silent, strong. And it starts when you make the choice not to react, but to respond with clarity. That choice repeated becomes who you are, and who you are is what shapes your future. Chapter 8. Break your limits by showing up when it's hard. Break your limits by showing up when it's hard. That's where real growth happens. Not when it's easy, not when everything is going your way, not when the conditions are perfect. Growth begins the moment you stop waiting for comfort and start taking action, even when every part of you feels like backing down. Most people wait for the right mood, the right energy, the right timing, and that's why they never go far. Because what they're really waiting for is permission to stay the same. But if you want to break through what's holding you back, you have to learn to move when it's tough. That's the difference between the person who grows and the person who stays stuck. When life feels heavy, that's your cue to show up. When your mind starts making excuses, that's your signal to push. The problem isn't the challenge, it's your belief that difficulty means stop. You were never supposed to feel ready before you began. You were supposed to act anyway. That's how you build the strength you're missing. You don't need perfect motivation to show up. You need a reason that matters, something bigger than your tiredness, bigger than your fears, bigger than your mood. That reason has to be strong enough to carry you through the hard days, because they're coming, and the only way to get stronger is to walk through them. People misunderstand limits. They think limits are fixed. They think what they can't do today defines what they'll never do. That's not true. Most limits are built in your head. They're built by comfort, by doubt, by past failure. They're shaped by old experiences and beliefs that no longer belong to you, and if you keep feeding them, they stay. But if you start showing up in spite of them, you break them down slowly, repeatedly, not in one big leap, but in the daily choice to try again. That's how limits fall apart. Not with emotion, but with action. Showing up when it's hard teaches you who you are. It shows you that even on your worst day you can make progress. Maybe not massive results, but momentum. And momentum is what you need. You don't have to win the whole game today. You just need to stop disappearing when things get difficult. Because every time you avoid the hard moment, you reinforce the belief that you're not capable, and that belief becomes your truth until you challenge it. You don't have to feel strong to be strong. Some of the most important steps you'll take in life will be the ones you take shaking with doubt in your chest, with pressure on your shoulders. That's the kind of effort that builds real self-respect, not because you looked impressive, but because you showed up when it was hard, when no one would have blamed you for quitting, when it would have been easy to sit back. You stood up. You moved forward. Start noticing your patterns. When do you quit? What makes you back down? Is it failure? Is it discomfort? Is it fear of not being enough? Those are the moments that need your attention. Not judgment, not shame, just honesty. If you can see where you've stopped before, you can choose not to stop again. You can build a different response. You can say, "This is the part where I usually quit, and this time I won't." That one decision can reshape your path. You're going to be uncomfortable. That's part of growth. You're going to be tired. You're going to face days where your energy is low and your motivation is gone. But those aren't the days you throw everything away. Those are the days you prove to yourself that this time is different, that you don't need everything to be easy to stay committed, that you don't need to feel perfect to take action. That's the kind of shift that makes you unstoppable when it's hard. Keep your focus small. Don't look at the whole mountain. Just take one step. Do one task. Show up for 1 hour. The key is to stay in motion. Action breaks resistance when you stop moving. The doubts get louder. The fatigue starts to control you. But if you take action, even small, you regain your power. You start to realize you're not controlled by how you feel. You're led by what you've decided. And that decision is everything. You either decide to grow or you decide to stay the same. There is no in between. You can't wish for progress and still cling to your old habits. You can't want new results with the same excuses. If it's hard, that's the point. That means you're in the space where growth happens. Keep showing up. Let the discomfort shape you. Start seeing hard moments as your practice ground. This is where you build what you need for the next level. This is where you sharpen your skills, your patience, your strength. Every setback is a lesson. Every tough day is a test. Not of your talent, but of your discipline, your follow-through, your ability to stay consistent, even when your mood doesn't cooperate. Don't wait for support. Don't expect applause. Don't wait for someone to rescue you. This is your path. It's your life, and no one's coming to carry you through it. You have to decide that your progress means more to you than any excuse that your goals matter, more than temporary relief, that your standards are higher than your comfort. This is how you build confidence, not by wishing for it, but by earning it, by walking through difficulty and realizing, "I didn't quit. I didn't fold. I kept going." That feeling can't be given. It has to be earned through struggle. That's the feeling that changes your posture, your decisions, your presence. People will notice the change, but more importantly, you'll notice it. You'll walk different, think different, respond different. Because now you trust yourself. You've seen what you can do when it's hard, and no one can take that from you. This isn't about hustle for the sake of hustle. It's about building a foundation, one that doesn't collapse under stress, one that doesn't fade when life pushes back. That foundation comes from repeatedly showing up when it's not easy, from proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought, if you want to go further. This is the price. It's not comfort, it's consistency. It's not praise, it's persistence. It's not luck, it's effort. Put the effort in now, and your future self will thank you. Keep walking through the hard days, and one day you'll look back and realize they made you. You don't have to feel ready, you just have to decide to begin. Then do it again tomorrow, and again after that. That's how you break your limits, one hard day at a time, one uncomfortable choice after another, until growth becomes your new normal and your old limits are a thing of the past. Chapter 9. Keep promises you make to yourself every day. Keep promises you make to yourself every day. That's where real self-respect begins, not in how you talk about your goals, not in how confident you sound, but in whether or not you do what you said you'd do, especially when no one's watching. Most people break their own promises without even noticing. They tell themselves they'll wake up early, they'll stick to a plan, they'll stay focused, and then the moment it gets uncomfortable or inconvenient, they walk away from their own word. They convince themselves it doesn't matter, but it does. It matters more than you think, because every broken promise to yourself lowers your self-trust. And when you stop trusting yourself, everything else in your life starts to weaken. You can't build a strong life on shaky discipline. If you say you'll do something, do it. Not because someone else expects you to, because you expect it from yourself. That's how character is built. That's how inner strength grows. It's in the small, personal commitments, the ones no one claps for, the ones no one sees, the ones that test your consistency. When you say you'll go to the gym, and you go. When you say you'll work on your craft, and you do. When you say you'll cut distractions, and actually follow through. That's the foundation of becoming someone you're proud of. You've probably made promises in the past that you didn't keep. That's not something to be ashamed of, but it is something to change. Because if you keep letting yourself down, it becomes your pattern, and that pattern turns into self-doubt. It turns into guilt. It turns into that quiet voice in your head that says, "Why even try? You never finish what you start." But here's the truth. You don't have to keep living that way. You can rebuild that trust one day at a time, one action at a time, one promise at a time. Start with something small. Don't try to change your whole life in a week. Pick one thing and commit to it. Not for someone else, for you, because the goal isn't to impress anyone. The goal is to become someone you believe in, someone you can count on. You don't need to be loud about it. You don't need to announce your goals. Just follow through, quietly, repeatedly, relentlessly. When you tell yourself you'll wake up early, get up, even if you're tired, even if it's dark. That single act trains your mind to take your words seriously when you plan to finish a task. Don't put it off. Finish it, even if it's boring, even if it takes more energy than expected. That kind of follow-through builds mental strength. It creates momentum. It rewires your brain to believe. When I say something, I mean it, and that belief changes everything. When you trust yourself, your energy shifts. You move differently. You stop second-guessing. You stop needing validation. You stop falling into the same cycles that held you back for years. Why? Because now you're accountable to yourself, not to feelings, not to moods, not to convenience. You're accountable to the standard you've set. People talk a lot about confidence, but real confidence doesn't come from talking big. It comes from keeping your word, from doing what you promised over and over. That's how you build confidence that lasts. It doesn't fade in tough moments. It doesn't disappear when people doubt you. It stays with you because it was earned through effort. Think about how you feel when you break a promise to someone else. There's guilt. There's discomfort. There's disappointment. Now think about how often you do that to yourself. You make plans, then cancel on them. You set goals, then ignore them. You say tomorrow and then say it again the next day. That wears down your mindset. It makes you feel like you're not capable of change. But that's not true. You're just not keeping your own word, and that's something you can fix. Don't let your feelings decide your effort. Some days you'll feel tired. Some days you'll feel unmotivated. That's normal. But the promise still stands. If you only follow through when it feels easy, you'll never break past average. You'll never experience the kind of self-respect that comes from doing the hard thing. Anyway, it's not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about proving to yourself that your word has weight, that when you say you're going to do something, it's already decided, not up for debate, not depending on how your day goes. Decided, and when you start living that way, you gain clarity. You stop wasting energy on indecision. You stop battling with yourself every morning. You wake up and move. You make choices and follow through. You stop saying, "I should," and start saying, "I will." That mental shift changes everything. The people who are respected in life aren't always the most talented, but they're consistent, they're dependable. They say what they'll do and then do it. That's the kind of person you want to become. Someone who doesn't need to be pushed. Someone who's guided by their own discipline. Someone who holds themselves to a high standard, even in silence. It starts now, not later, not when you're ready, not after you feel inspired. It starts with the next promise you make to yourself. Make it small, make it real, and then follow through. That follow through is the seed of something bigger. It's the beginning of trust, the beginning of momentum, the beginning of becoming someone who no longer waits for change, but becomes it. Every day is a new chance to prove something to yourself, not by achieving everything at once, but by honoring one commitment at a time, by stacking small wins, by showing your mind that you can be trusted. And when your mind starts to believe that the game changes, you start taking bigger steps. You start aiming higher. Because now you're no longer held back by the fear of failure. You're fueled by the power of self-trust. You don't have to be the loudest in the room. You don't need to convince anyone of your intentions. Just keep showing up. Keep keeping your promises and let your results do the talking. Let your discipline speak louder than any goal you've ever shared. Because in the end, what matters isn't what you say. It's what you do when no one's looking. So start today. Decide on one thing, something real, something meaningful, and do it, even if it's uncomfortable. Especially if it's uncomfortable, then do it again tomorrow and the day after. Watch what happens when you start building that track record with yourself. You'll move different. You'll think different. You'll live different. That's the path. That's the standard. And it begins the moment you stop talking and start keeping the promises you make to yourself every day, no matter what. Chapter 10. Do the boring things until they build your future. Do the boring things until they build your future. That's not exciting advice, but it's the kind that works. Most people never reach their goals because they're always chasing motivation. They want to feel excited, fired up, inspired every single day. And the moment that feeling fades, they stop. They quit on the process. But real growth doesn't come from excitement. It comes from repetition, from showing up on the days that feel slow, from doing the ordinary tasks that no one wants to do, but that successful people do. Anyway, the boring stuff is what builds your discipline. It's what shapes your habits. It's what creates results you can actually live off of. You don't build a great body in a week. You don't build a successful business overnight. You don't build unshakable discipline in one decision. You build all of those things by doing the same simple, repeatable actions over and over again until the result starts to take shape. It's brushing your teeth. Even when you're tired, it's reviewing your budget, even when it feels pointless. It's getting in that workout, even when you're not in the mood. It's reading 10 pages every day when no one's asking you to. These are the actions that change who you are, not in a flash, but slowly, methodically, and permanently. But most people overlook these moments. They think progress should feel exciting. They think it should come with constant reward. They expect growth to look like a highlight reel. And when it doesn't, they start believing something's wrong. They think they're doing it wrong. They think maybe this path just isn't for them. But that's not true. The path is right. It just feels boring. And that's exactly how it's to feel. Boredom isn't a signal to stop. It's a sign you're in the right place. It means you've moved past the noise and hype, and you're now deep in the process. The process doesn't care how you feel. The process only responds to what you repeat. If you show up consistently, it starts to reward you, not instantly, but always. If you only show up when it's exciting, you'll keep starting over again and again. The people who get ahead are not the ones who are always fired up. They're the ones who master consistency. They don't look for a new routine every month. They don't jump from one strategy to the next. They find what works, and they keep doing it over and over, even when it's no longer fun. Especially when it's no longer fun, because they understand that consistency is more valuable than intensity. A little progress every day beats a burst of energy once a week. You have to start thinking long term. Ask yourself, what habits would I still be proud of 5 years from now? What actions would still be paying off long after the excitement disappears? That's where you need to invest your energy, not in what feels good right now, but in what creates results that last. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, but it works. And you know it works because the people who live with strength, freedom, and clarity, they've done it. They've built their lives on the back of habits most people avoid. They don't need to get motivated every morning. They've turned their routines into second nature. They've made the boring things automatic. That's how you win. You win by getting so consistent with the small things that they stop feeling like a choice and start becoming part of who you are. The boring things are where your future is being built. That meal prep, that savings plan, that 30-minute walk, that daily journal entry, that focused hour without distraction. These are the investments that compound. They don't scream for attention, but they silently shape your future. And here's the thing, the boring part never fully goes away even as you grow, even as you level up. There will always be new basics to master, new routines that feel repetitive, new habits that take discipline. But the difference is, you'll learn to embrace that. You'll stop resisting the repetition and start respecting it. You'll stop chasing excitement and start chasing consistency because you've seen what it creates. You've felt the difference it makes. You've experienced the peace and progress that comes from being committed, even when it's not fun. You have to stop believing that boredom is a problem. It's not. It's a sign you're doing the real work, the kind that changes you, the kind that people don't post about, the kind that doesn't get likes or attention, but that builds a future you don't need to run from. Start small. Choose one habit, one routine, one task, and do it every day without needing it to entertain you, without expecting it to feel magical. Just do it. Then stack another one and another before you know it. You'll be living inside a life that was built by steady progress. Not hype, not bursts. Just the decision to show up, even when it was slow and something powerful happens. When you live this way, you stop relying on motivation. You stop depending on the mood. You stop chasing new tricks because you know the secret. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters every single day that creates confidence, that creates results, that creates a foundation. You can trust. Your future is being shaped right now, not by the big moments, but by the boring ones. By the early mornings, you choose discipline. By the evenings, you choose to stay on track. By the habits you choose to repeat, even when no one is watching. That's the truth. That's the work. So stop searching for shortcuts. Stop waiting to feel ready. Get to work on the things that matter most, even when they're not exciting. Especially when they're not exciting, because those are the things that actually change your life. Do the boring things until they stop feeling boring. Do them until they feel natural. Do them until the results are too clear to ignore, and then keep going. That's how you build something great. Not all at once, but brick by brick, task by task, day by day. And if you stay with it, you'll look back one day and realize those boring actions were the most important decisions you ever made. They built your focus. They built your strength. They built your future. And they did it without needing anyone's attention. Just your consistency. Just your patience. Just your quiet, relentless follow through. That's the path. That's the truth. And it starts right now.